Okay.
Yes, sir. Now we can see.
Hmm. Heights and distances. Under heights and distances, I told you about angle of elevation and angle of depression. Okay. Repeat, angle of elevation. Elevation means elevated object. Okay. So remember, elevation always means object is at an elevated position. Okay. And the observer, one who's seeing this object, is at a lower position. Okay. So object is elevated. Okay. So when we are talking about angle of elevation, so know that the observer is down. Okay. And the object is up. Okay. Now what happens? What is this angle? This is his line of sight, right? Of the observer is looking at in this direction. And this is the ground level or the horizontal in which he is standing, right? Then this angle between the ground level or the horizontal, this is also called the horizontal. And the angle that is made by his line of sight, this angle here, theta, this angle is called the angle of elevation. Okay. So next, angle of depression, as I told you again that day, that if you have um, angle of depression, so depression means now the object is at a depressed position. That means the observer is at an elevated position. Observer is higher. Okay. And the object here is at a depressed position, right? Here, if you see in angle of elevation, when we are talking about this word elevation, we meant with respect to the object, which is at an elevated position. Here also, when we talk about angle of depression, when we talk about angle of depression, okay, so you see that the object here is at a depressed position, right? Okay. So now what should this angle be? This is the line of sight, that is when the observer is looking at the object down. Then this is his line of sight, right? And this is the horizontal, right? Then this is your ground level or the horizontal. And this angle that is made here is called the angle of depression. Obviously, angle of depression of the object with respect to the observer. Okay, angle of depression. Okay, so these two were the definition that I told you in the last class also. So this was just a revision. Let's see a worked out example based on angle of elevation and angle of depression in order to understand the concept better. Look at this question, the example that I have given you. The question is the angle of elevation of the top of a tower from a point on the ground at a distance 150 meter from its foot is 30 degree. Now there are certain information that you must understand here. First of all, when they are talking about angle of elevation, right? Angle of elevation of what? Angle of elevation of the top of the tower. So let's say this is the top, right? That means top is the object because they are talking about angle of elevation, right? So angle of elevation of the top of a tower from a point in the ground. So let's say you have a point A in the ground. Okay. The angle of elevation of this from a point in the ground at a distance 150 meter from the foot. Now, if this is the top of the tower, let's say this is the tower, right? This is the tower, and let's say this is the your ground level. Let me extend this so that you know this is the ground level. Okay, this is the ground level. Now, this point A, what have they said? That the angle of elevation of the top of the tower from a point on the ground, which is A, at a distance of 150 meter from its foot. Which one is the foot of the tower? This point is the foot, right? So the distance of A from the foot of the tower is given to be 150 meters, right? And the angle of elevation here is given to be 30 degrees. That means now if we join this top to the point A, and you know that the angle is of elevation is the angle made by the line of sight with the horizontal. So that means this angle here is 30 degrees. This is the angle of elevation, right? So we have made our right angle triangle. Let us call this point B, the foot of the tower, and let us call the top of the tower C. Okay. Now, question is find the height of the tower. Which one is the height of the tower? This length CB is the height of the tower, right? You have to find out this length. Okay. So how to find out? Now, if you see in this right angle triangle, you know this angle, right? If this angle you know, then what is this? What is this length? This must be our perpendicular, and this becomes our base, right? And this becomes our hypotenuse, right? Just opposite to the angle will be a perpendicular, right? That is what we had discussed in class 9. So now 30 degree, which trigonometric identity relates your perpendicular, not identity, in fact, which trigonometric relation relates this angle with the perpendicular and with the base? It is tan, right? So therefore we use tan. Tan 30 we know is perpendicular by base. And why are we using perpendicular by base? Because we want to find out the perpendicular, which is the height of the tower, and we know the base, and we also know tan 30 because tan 30 is a standard angle, right? So tan 30 is equal to perpendicular by base. Now tan 30 value, all of you know, is 1 by root 3, right? Is equal to perpendicular. Which one is the perpendicular here? It is CB, right? And the base here is AB. Now which one do I know? I want to find out CB and I know AB. So that means now I can find out the value of CB. So cross multiply root 3 CB is equal to 150. That means CB is equal to 150 by root 3. Okay, now the denominator is irrational. So therefore, we must rationalize the denominator to find out the exact value in decimal places. How? You multiply the numerator and denominator by root 3. So you're getting here 150 root 3 divided by 3, right? So now you can cancel this here. You get 50 root 3. Now 50 root 3, you want to convert, if you see in the question they have asked you, find the height of the tower correct to one place of decimal, right? So you need to convert this root 3 into decimal. And I told you already that you must remember the values of root 3 and root 2. So you know the value, even if it is not given, you must be able to write down the value of root 3 as 1.732, right? So now if you multiply this, you're going to get 86.6 and something, because you need to find out the value till only one place of decimal. So you leave it at 86.6 and say correct to one place of decimal. Right? So this is as easy as this to find in order to understand the concept of angle of elevation. Okay. Now angle of depression. Definition already told to you. Let's see an example from angle of depression. Look at the question here. From the top of a cliff, 92-meter high, the angle of depression of a buoy is a small water body, okay, is 20 degrees. Calculate to the nearest meter distance of the buoy from the foot of the hill. Okay, now see how does it look like from the top of a cliff. I mean, let's say you are standing at a cliff. This is the top of the cliff. And how should we represent the cliff? Let's say the cliff is vertical this way. This is the cliff, right? From the top of a cliff, 92 meters high. So let's say this is your ground level. Let's say this is your ground level. And top of a cliff, 92 meters high means the height of the cliff is 92 meters. Okay. The angle of depression of a buoy is 20 degree. 20 degree. That means the if they are talking about angle of depression, that means object must be here. And what is the object here? Object is the buoy, right? This is the object because they are talking about angle of depression, right? So what happens that you are viewing the cliff from the top of the cliff, you are viewing this buoy, right? Okay. This angle of depression is given to be how much? 20 degree. Now, which one should be the angle of depression? It is angle made by this line of sight. This is your line of sight. You are looking down, right? With the horizontal. Let's say this is your horizontal, right? So this angle here will be your angle of depression, 20 degree, which is obviously equal to this because they are alternate angles, right? So this is what is given to you, right? You need to find out to the nearest meter the distance of the buoy from the foot of the hill. This is your foot of the hill. Foot of the hill. And this is your cliff, right? Let us name these points now. Let us call this point C. Let us call this point B. And let us call this point A, right? So you have a right angle triangle, ABC, in which one you know? Because you know this angle, this becomes your perpendicular. This becomes your base. This becomes your hypotenuse. Now you know the perpendicular. What do you need to find? You need to find out the distance of the buoy from the foot of the hill. The distance of the buoy from the foot of the hill is this. That means you need to find out BC, right? That means you need to find out the base of this right angle triangle. So when you know the perpendicular and when you know this angle and you want to find out the base, which function should you use? Trigonometric relation should you use? It is tan. In most of these cases, you will see that you will have to use tan. Okay. So we have tan 20 degree is equal to perpendicular by base. That means tan 20. Now, how do you find out the value of tan 20? You refer to the tables, right? This is your tables. So let's look at the natural tangents table. Tan 20 we need to find, right? So you start from 0 here and start moving down till you reach 20 here, 20. And what is the value of tan 20? Here, 20 degrees, 0 minutes, right? This is 0 minutes. So tan 20 degree means tan 20 degrees, 0 minutes. The value is 0.3640. So you write it here, 0.3640 is equal to perpendicular here is AB, base here is CB, right? So you have 0.3640 is equal to, we know the height of the cliff AB, 92 meters. So we write 92 divided by C. So therefore, you multiply here 0.36 cross multiply CB is equal to 92. That means 90 CB here is 92 divided by 0.3640. Now, how do you calculate this, right? You simplify this, remove the decimal from the denominator and divide directly. That is the only way of finding this out, right? So what you have to do is you shift 4 places of decimal in the denominator. That means if you shift 4 places of decimal in the denominator to the right, you have to add 4 zeros to the numerator. Is 640 and 10 cancels here. So you're getting 92,000 by 364, right? Now there is no other way but to find this out by division. What you can, but the least that you can do here is you can cancel this with 4. You can cancel the numerator and denominator by 4. That means CB you are getting as 23,000 divided by 91, right? And you need to divide 23,000 by 91 to get your answer. You already know how to divide, right? Which you have learned in your class 3 and 4, how to divide two numbers. So you divide the two numbers and you get your answer as 252 point. Because they have asked you correct to the nearest meter, you can only calculate till one place of decimal, right? Say 252.7 meters you have got. Now, because they have asked you, if you see in the question, they have asked you correct to the nearest meter, not one decimal place or two decimal place. They have asked you correct to the nearest meter. Now, if you see 252.7 we get, so this is 252.7 is very close to 253, right? Meters. Because they don't want decimal, they have asked you to express the answer correct to the nearest meter. So you just write this as correct to the nearest meter. And that's it. Okay, fine. Now, I will not discuss the next problem, but what I'll do here is that I will tell you something very basic. See, in heights and distances, there are two fundamental types of diagram that you will come across in all your problems. Exactly all your problems. There are exactly two kinds of fundamental figures that you are going to come across. What are those figures? Fundamental figures. This is the first type of figure that you will come across. This is one figure that you are going to come across. Okay, I have called this figure type 1 for your understanding. Okay, another figure that you will come across is this kind of figure. This kind of figure you are going to come across. Okay, this I have called as type 2. Now, in the following classes, I have illustrated two problems from here. It is very important that you understand these two problems well. Okay, if you want to understand the chapter, just understand these four problems, two problems from here and two problems from here. If you are able to understand these four problems, then you will be able to um, solve almost all the questions from this exercise. These are the two very fundamental figures that you are going to come across. Okay, now why are these fundamental figures? Now, in type 1 figure, what they might say is, let's say they will say that this is a lighthouse, right? And from the lighthouse, the angle of depression of a boat here, let's say a boat on the sea, on the same side of the lighthouse, boat 1 and boat 2. So here you have an observer who's looking down from the lighthouse, and he sees a boat 1 here and he sees the boat 2 here. And two angles will be given to you, the angle of depression. So angle of depression will be given to you in the sense that the angle of depression of boat 1 is this angle, right? And angle of depression of boat 2 is this angle, right? So these two angles will be given. Now, if suppose this angle is given, X angle is given, then this angle must be equal to this angle because they are alternate angles. And if this angle will also be given, the angle of depression, this angle will be equal to this because they are alternate angles, right? So now, once you know these two angles, with the help of tan, you will be able to find out the height of the lighthouse, or you will also be able to find out the distance between the boats. So two kinds of problems you will get. Either they will give you this will be given, and you will have to find out the height of the lighthouse, or the height of the lighthouse will be given, and this you will have to find out distance between the boats. This is one type of problem that you're going to come across. The next type of problem in the second type of figure that you're going to come across is again, let's say a lighthouse is, you're standing at the top of a lighthouse, okay, and you have two boats here. This time the boats are on the opposite sides of the lighthouse, not on the same side. these two boats are on the opposite sides of the lighthouse, and once the observer is looking down at these two boats, one at boat 1 and the one at boat 2, the angle of depression of these two boats will be given to you. So this is your horizontal, right? If I say angle of depression of boat 1, that means this angle here, right? Let's call this angle X. Angle of depression of boat 2 is this, right? So therefore now X, if this angle is X, this angle will also be X because they are alternate angles. And this angle will also be Y because they are alternate angles. Now once you know these two angles, now either the height of the lighthouse will be given to you, this will be given to you, and you will have to find out this length, that is the distance between the boats, or vice versa, that is the distance between the boats will be given to you. This will be given, and you will have to find out the height of the lighthouse, right? So in the coming that is not tomorrow. Tomorrow you have an exam. So the day after tomorrow, I'll be discussing these two problems in detail. And if you are able to understand these two problems, you have understood almost all the problems of heights and distances. Okay, that much I can assure you. So I'll stop here.